Hi, and welcome back to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce Member Connection. I am your host, Eric Knowles, president of the Chamber. And yeah, as always, I'm excited because we're talking about growing businesses, minority businesses, women-owned businesses, black-owned businesses here in Miami-Dade County. And my good friend is here with me, Mr. Mike Fernandez. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
You know, you've been here in a different role in the past, and here now you're with Waste Pro USA.
Waste Pro USA.
But before we get into that, let folks know who Mike is, you know?
So Mike, I'm born and raised here in Miami, Florida. Grew up in actually a suburb called Westchester, Florida,
Okay.
down south. Went to the local school system, public schools down there at Coral Park. I'm a senior high. I'm a graduate from there. Went to Miami-Dade Community College.
You know, a lot of us
Miami-Dade
were
College.
right here. As a matter of fact, I was right here on this campus. So
I came to this campus too. So I did them all. I did Wolfson, I did this one, I did the Kendall campus. But went on to FIU, graduate from Florida International University, got my double major in my undergrads, business management, international business, and then decided to go back to school and get my master's, and was able to accomplish that. I got my MBA from FIU, great school.
right. My alma mater as well.
So still local here, and still dealing with garbage.
Dealing with garbage. Most of us don't like to deal with garbage, but we all have to deal with garbage because that's part of life. As we live, we consume products, we consume whatever it is, we cook. There's debris in our yard, especially down here in South Florida. We're always cutting back, we're always trimming. I had someone on earlier last week about landscaping, and obviously that whole thing with landscaping, there's a lot of debris that's collected. Let's talk about that business, and I know it's very challenging, your business, but talk about it. Let people know, most people, they have their trash can, put the garbage in, they push it to the corner, and they don't even have to think about it anymore.
Poof, it magically disappears. So,
exactly.
And that's one of the, and by the way, I got into the industry by accident. I was trying to become a firefighter, and then got a call one day to work at this private garbage company as a temp, and they say, hey, you want to come work at this garbage? I'm like, garbage? I don't want to pick up garbage. It's like, try it out, see what you think.
Right.
28 years later, I'm still doing it. So, but, and that's one of the things that's really great in the waste business is that the logistics behind the process is just unimaginable. I mean, it's you have this truck. I mean, this truck has to physically come up, pick up that can, that debris on your right of way, and get rid of it somehow in an environmentally responsible way. And there's just so much behind the scenes that happens from the truck, from the the employees coming in the morning, making sure the truck is safe, going out on the road, picking up, hitting these routes, picking up that debris, taking it to a facility where it gets either a midpoint facility like a transfer station or a final disposal location like a landfill, but it has to be touched again, put into a tractor trailer, and then end up putting somewhere, either again a landfill or even a waste to energy facility where it gets processed and finalized. But there's so much components behind the scenes that happen, so many touches, that it's like unrealistic. It's not, and it's still one of the last few services still around that you physically have to touch the customer. A lot of things now is internet, or automated, but to this day it's a manual process that you have to go pick up. I mean, we've made strides in the business in the sense that we've come to this like automated garbage truck basically that picks it up.
You don't see the guys or the women on the back of their trucks.
Right.
But there's still some communities that do have the guys or the women on the back of the trucks that hop back on, grab the cans.
So unfortunately, it's not a one-size-fits-all for that process. There are certain areas like alleyways or small tight corridors that you can't really put those type of trucks there. So you still have to use the traditional or rear load system, basically, with the helpers and the driver, basically. But for the most part, that automated process has really helped in the sense of reducing workers' comp cases, accidents, slip and fall accidents like that, back injuries. Where before, I mean, you pick up some of these bags, they're heavy.
I can imagine. Yeah.
They're heavy.
And I think about back in the day growing up, they were metal cans.
They're metal cans. You remember that? Those? Oh yeah, I remember
Right.
the old metal cans. Yeah, you're right.
Right. Speaking of, and I know we talked about this before, and obviously, you have like my pickup is on Mondays and Thursdays,
Right.
and the communities have different days. Some of them are on Saturday morning, so on and so forth. But then there's the recycle component. And I know every 2 weeks, the recycling happens on a Monday for me through the county. Whole thing about recycling, people don't really understand that. Talk about recycling a little bit.
So, recycling, I mean, I think it's gotten to a point that people use the recycling bin as an additional garbage can just to add more volume for less money, basically. But,
which is challenging.
It's challenging. It takes a lot of education, in addition with some sort of enforcement to make sure people are doing the right thing. But, recycling is really a viable market. As a matter of fact, at Waste Pro, we have 5 recycling facilities through our 10-state footprint, basically, throughout the U.S. So, like, we cover from Florida all the way to Missouri. We have Alabama, Louisiana, the Carolinas, Tennessee. I mean, all that footprint, the southeastern footprint, we cover that. So we have 5 material recovery facilities where this recycling actually goes to. And the biggest challenge we find are bags. Plastic bags are a nightmare. And unfortunately, I think people think that you wrap, your recyclable, it's all recyclable, just throw it in there, it's nice, convenient.
Right.
And it becomes a nightmare. It gets tangled up in the machinery and the conveyors, and the screens that we have at our facilities. But recycling is a real thing. I mean, people may say, well, because of China stopped taking recycle. Look, there's a market for recycling. Mm-hmm. I encourage recycling. Cardboard, I'll be honest, one of our biggest materials in the recycling stream is cardboard.
I was going to ask you that because I see, guys that have companies and they have their truck and it's loaded up with, the cardboard boxes from the back of a facility or
even Amazon.
Right, exactly. So talk about that a little bit. I'm assuming there's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That these guys make. I don't know if it's a lot of money, but there's got to be money being
there's
made.
Money. It's a commodity. I mean, it fluctuates depending on supply and demand. But let me tell you, during the COVID times, I mean, all these commodities were at an all-time high. They have dropped some, but for instance, like cardboard, I mean, it could be running close to, at one time it was like $200 a ton for cardboard that you actually get back rebates for that.
Right.
And cardboard, it's always, I mean, everything we involve in our lives somehow it's inside a box or something,
right.
Especially nowadays with the whole internet market, right? Ordering things online.
Exactly.
It comes boxed. So I think, cardboard is definitely, I'll be honest, Waste Pro, we process close to almost 90 million pounds of cardboard a year.
Wow. That's
some substantial numbers. Right behind that is paper, right close to about 30 million pounds a year we process. So we're processing it for a reason. There's obviously some sort of return on that.
Right.
And we're doing something better. Rather than end up in a landfill where it's just going to rot inside a landfill and not do anything with it, we're making some sort of beneficial product. We're reusing it, basically, putting it back into the stream.
Right. Well, we're going to take a little break. But, the one thing about being educated about this whole process of getting rid of your garbage is important because we talk about global warming, we talk about all these different things, but that also plays a part of that. So before we get back into that, we'll take a word from one of our supporters.
Learn and earn today at Miami-Dade College. College graduates earn 56% more than high school graduates and $1 million more in lifetime earnings. A degree from MDC is your path to greater earning power and career success. Choose from hundreds of affordable high-tech and in-demand career programs, including cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, business, and nursing. Learn and earn today at MDC and fast-track your career. Enroll now at mdc.edu/purpose.
Hi, and welcome back to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce Member Connection. I am your host, Eric Knowles, and we have my good friend Mike Fernandez with Waste Pro USA here with us today, and talking about something we all put our hands on. couple times a week.
Yeah, and don't associate me with garbage now. Is that what you're trying to say? But yeah, I mean, look, garbage. Waste. The waste industry is a very important industry. Like I said, I got into it kind of by accident, but I've grown to love it in the sense that I think it plays an important role in society to make sure our streets are safe, they're clean. You don't have vermin, pests going around, rats, things like that.
Exactly.
And even disease.
Right.
So. Waste. Just going back to Waste Pro, our company, our founder, his father founded his company back in the 1930s, back in Long Island. And believe it or not, again, our founder started his company called Jennings Environmental back in the 70s. He merged with Waste Management, the big mega company, and he decided to get back into business. And we established ourselves back in 2001. As Waste Pro USA up in Georgia, Athens, Georgia. And from that day on, I mean, he started with $865 of revenue, basically. That's how he started. And has grown to this $1.2 billion company.
Wow.
Yeah, we're close to over 4,000 employees, 4,500 employees roughly, through that 10-state footprint that we cover. And we have over 90 locations. We cover. I mean, it just goes to show you what important role these companies play in these jurisdictions, because we handle many cities. We handle at least 2 million residential customers in our footprint.
Because to your point, all municipalities don't necessarily take care of their own waste.
Exactly. So what they do is they outsource it to a private company. It's a lot more efficient. It's a lot more cost effective. And we deal with it, right? We're the experts. This is our niche market, right? This is what we do for a living, and it works well. I mean, we handle the city of North Miami here in Miami-Dade County. In Broward, we handle Hollywood, Pembroke Pines, Miramar. Those are large cities up there in Broward, but we're really looking at expanding our footprint down here in Miami-Dade County, and providing, again, the founder of our company is still around. He's our chairman of our board. And his belief is providing a good customer service. The customer will pay for good customer service, and that's what we've always done. I mean, all these companies are locally ran and operate, so they hire from local neighborhoods, local jurisdictions. Mm-hmm. So the people you're talking to, you're not talking to some, like if you call for a customer service issue or anything like that, you're not calling some other place in another state or another country.
Right.
You're talking to the people that live in your community.
Okay.
So it's a really great company, not just because I work here, I'm not being biased. I've really grown to like this company. It's a really nice company. We're trying to make a name for ourselves here in local market here, because we're really known all over, up north in the state of Florida as well, throughout that whole 10-state footprint.
Right. Speaking about that, and I know, again, we've been doing things together for the last few years. What is Waste Pro, their whole engagement with the community? Let's talk about that, because I know a lot of companies, they do their business, but how is Waste Pro engaged?
So we like to call ourselves a distinguishable difference. Like, we have that distinguishable difference in the sense that we engage with the community. We bring the community. And actually, our slogan below Waste Pro says "Caring for our communities." So we give back to our communities. We partner up with local jurisdiction, with community HOAs, whatever it is, to help do cleanups. We actually, if I remember correctly, on the West Coast, we actually picked up a bunch of oysters to go ahead and farm them, basically, and we put them in the back of our truck, even though it has nothing to do with waste. Right. We actually took them out there to kind of plant them again.
Interesting.
So that was something we gave back to the community. We do cookouts all the time with the community, bring the community in. We actually have. Again, the drivers and the employees that work in these communities, we do rodeos, that we can do competitions. We partner up with like the Jacksonville Jaguars up there with the stadium. Actually, we even have New Orleans as well, the Superdome. We have a partnership there. So yeah, I mean, we're always trying to give back to the community in the sense of engaging with the community. That's our goal. Again, any type of events, special projects, anything like that, we're here for that. Right.
I'm going somewhere totally over in left field. I was riding on the turnpike the other day, and I remember growing up, there were a lot of commercials about littering. Mm-hmm. And I just noticed, like I said, I think it was this past weekend, there's a lot of trash on the turnpike. And I don't know, people just have gotten away from, that's one of the things, I tell you, one of the things that I hate, I can be riding down the street and somebody throw a bottle out the window.
Oh, that drives me crazy. That drives me crazy. I feel like getting off and just throwing it right back in the window.
Right. Or where's the police, you know?
Yeah. I mean, look, I think it comes down to society, being raised in the culture. I mean, you're just us.
Right.
Because the only place, I tell you what, the only place I felt okay doing that is when I was on top of a landfill. I'll just throw it out my window into the landfill.
Right.
But aside that, I think it's just, behavior. And I think we got to change that behavior. I think we got to care for our community, basically. We got to care for where we live, because if you don't have pride in what you do or where you live, then you're gonna trash your community. You don't care about that. So
yeah, I don't. Like I said, I'm just throwing this out at you. I don't know if something Waste Pro has even looked at, but I think maybe that's something that you all begin to let the community know that it's all about us.
Us, right?
And we have to look out for one another. And it, like I said, it was just something that, I mean, literally, I was like, wow, it's just, trash riding down the turnpike. And again, it just bothered me.
Yeah, no, it bothered me too. Even when I was with Miami-Dade County, it used to bother me when I was the director there.
Right.
When I was the director of Miami-Dade Solid Waste. And, we used to, I mean, at that point I had enforcement, right? So we used to use enforcement to try to grab those folks. And there is a litter law that you can actually fine these folks for doing that, because unfortunately, sometimes that's what it comes down to change behavior. You could educate as much as you want.
Right.
You could tell the people, take pride, and they just don't care. It's no different than recycling. It's no different than putting your waste out, putting your garbage in your can. You got to take the initiative, and if you don't want to take that initiative, then you got to change behavior. And that's how we had that code enforcement section that we used to go out there and
illegal dumping,
and illegal dumping, and to clean the streets. And that's unfortunately, it comes down to, again, education and enforcement at the end of the day for things like that. You could do community outreach, absolutely.
Right.
But you got to care at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, absolutely. In the last couple of minutes, what would you like folks to know about Waste Pro?
Look, Waste Pro is not your big corporation like some of these other companies, where we actually do care. We want to provide a great service. We're here. We're experts in what we do. I mean, I'm telling you, not being biased because I work here, but I've really seen the leadership here, and one of the things I've noticed is there's trust in this company. There's a plan. There's a good game plan. And we're here to deliver, in the sense that we provide customers with great service, and again, the distinguishable difference between us and the others. That's what we're here to show, from waste hauling to recycling to disposal. We do it all, basically, and we're here to help anybody with their waste needs.
Right. And I'm going, and my head is going a couple different places, and I go back to this whole thing with cardboard. If someone wanted to get in that business where they're collecting, how does that work?
I mean, to get into that line of business, there's two components. One is the hauling component, which is actually going out and picking it up at the street, and then the processing component. You got to take it somewhere to get processed. So to get into that line of business, you got to invest into equipment, manpower, permitting, regulate. Make sure you're regulated, and then you start establishing your accounts. It's not easy, because you got these barriers, with other companies such as ourselves to get, to try to get into that line of business. So, but it is challenging, but you could do it. I mean, that's what it takes down. Yeah, you could do it. I mean, that's how our founder started, with one truck. I mean, to this day, actually, we have a museum up in Sanford, Florida, with all these antique trucks, all these garbage trucks. And matter of fact, his first truck back in the 70s is still there and operational.
Wow. So if they want to get in touch with Waste Pro, how do they do it?
So I would say go to wastepro.usa.com and visit our website and check us out.
If you want to know more about the Miami-Dade Chamber, go to 305 or call us at 305-751-8648 or m-dc.org. This has been the Miami-Dade Chamber Member Connection. See you next time. Today, I stand before you, a proud graduate of Miami-Dade College and the 5th president of the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. I'm honored to return to the college that prepared me to become a leader in our community, providing an education second to none. So I'm asking you to please tune in every Monday at 12 noon to the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce's Member Connection as I interview members of the Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce on our Facebook page at Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce or our YouTube channel, Miami-Dade Chamber of Commerce. To learn more about the Chamber, please go to m-dcc.org or call the Chamber at 305-751-8648.